This is Unpivot, the show for Excel and Power BI fans and anyone who loves chatting about data. I'm Mark Proctor.
I'm Giles Male.
I'm Szepesi.
I'm Ken Puls.
Welcome, everyone. Hello. Could you tell which word I emphasized?
No, it was weird. You said it really weirdly.
Actually.
You couldn't tell what
Did you
word
choose
I was
one?
emphasizing.
You're obviously not as practiced at this as Win is.
No.
We ignored him
I mean,
as well, apparently for months.
Yeah, maybe that's why we didn't notice, because I thought show was reasonably well emphasized, but clearly not.
It was an uncomfortable listen. First sentence.
I was as soon as you started talking, I'm like, I wonder which word he's going to emphasize, and I'm like, nothing. Weird.
No, weird.
Oh.
Really weird.
Completely forgotten that.
Shocking start.
A shocking start. Well, I mean, Win's not here, so it's always going to be a substandard podcast. But to pull that up, we have got Ken Puls with us.
I was going to say, I'm kind of hurt by that. Like, come on.
Well, you know, when the normal host isn't here, it tends to get a bit dicey in terms of what buttons I need to click. But thankfully, Ken's here. That no matter what I do, the quality will be raised up again.
Oh wow, well done.
No pressure.
I think he saved himself with that one. It sounds like he's had lots of practice.
Yeah, a lot of scripts in the background. Myself. Rescue number 1, rescue number 2.
Yes. Well, how's everyone been? What's the news? What's going on in the world? Anyone got any news?
Yeah, I've got news. I saw you, Mark, in person.
In person.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to describe the event, Giles? Because I've got a question for you in a few moments' time about this exact event.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Okay, but you just describe the event, and then I'll ask you a question about it.
I went to London. I didn't have it in my diary, but I met Dim early for a couple of drinks. And I'm going to preempt what I think Mark is going to say by saying they were very strong drinks, and I didn't realize how strong they were. And then Dim said, "Oh, I'm going to the London Excel meetup group. Mark's doing a talk." I was like, "Oh, brilliant. I'll come along." And then we went to the pub beforehand, and I had a Guinness, and I was with Mark and a few others. And then Mark did a fantastic talk on dynamic arrays, which I remember every single word of. And that's the end of the story.
And Giles, did you or did you not fall asleep in the middle of said talk?
I definitely rested my eyes once or twice, but I was 3 drinks down, and they were very, very strong beers.
Did you snore?
No, it was only David Johnson, who I was chatting to him after. He goes, "Did you know that Giles fell asleep?" I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, really?"
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, you're not the first MVP to fall asleep in an event.
No.
I thought I'd got away with it, to be honest. I thought I got away with it. I was doing a very subtle lean on my arm, but just like, just rest your eyes. And I just had one of those moments when you go, "Oh God, I'm actually half asleep." Okay, right.
It's when he came up to me afterwards. I was like, "Oh, that's really good. I really enjoyed that. There's a lot, lots of great stuff in there."
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, David Johnson was he fell asleep. So
it was great.
I mean, it was a pretty tough crowd. There were, so excluding me, there were 4 MVPs in the room, and there was also the current financial modeling world champion. So when you're there talking about dynamic arrays in front of that kind of crowd, it's a tough crowd.
It's only 3.5 MVPs went to sleep though.
That's true.
Yeah. Very true.
They've been to the pub.
We have been to the pub.
You've been to the pub. They've been generous.
Mark did kind of preempt it. He said at the start of Mark's talk, he did say, "There's 2 people in this room that will learn absolutely nothing." And I'm going to guess, well, you meant Dim. Was the other one Peter? It could have been. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was like, there's 2 people who learn absolutely nothing. The rest of you might learn between something and a lot. I don't know. But 2 of you might as well just head home.
You always learn something, though. Maybe even if it's not technical, it might be presentation or,
Well, I will say that the world champion, financial modeling world champion, Dim Early, came up to me afterwards and said, I did learn something from that presentation. Yeah. And it was because someone asked a question about data validation lists and tables, and I gave an answer, and he didn't know that. So there you go.
Nice.
Cool.
It's a good day when you can teach Dim something.
Exactly.
Really
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to my gravestone. One day, Mark taught Dim something. That's going to be the thing.
You should maybe mark the day down. Otherwise, it's kind of a favorite accomplishment.
Yeah. Indeed. And then any other? So, Ken and Sue, you've both got meetup groups as well that happen. Have you had any recently? Well, Sue, I think yours is every week. Do you want to just?
Mine's every week.
Who have you had recently?
Every week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, we did. We had. We've got it on this evening because we're filming a bit early. Listen to us.
Filming.
So
Good
we're
Lord.
recording
What
a
are you
bit
doing?
early. But we had over 200 people sign up last week for Peter van der Bos on data modeling, which was amazing. So, and we've got, I think, about 170 signed up for this week, and we're covering Power BI and documentation with David Hanno. So, I mean,
Nice.
it's just amazing, really, the way that people are joining in. And it's really nice because we meet every week and it's so chilled. There's a lovely community about it. And what else have I had? Oh, running, lots of running.
Running.
So
No doubt.
yeah,
Sue makes me feel like the perennial underachiever. You know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, I thought I was doing well because I ran like 2 meetups a month, but like, you know, that's as much running as I do. And
Yeah.
you see, I mean, I was listening the other day that you're actually planning on coming to Canada so you can like run through the woods in front of bears, which
Yeah.
hats off. Don't bring a small dog or a small child because that actually attracts the cougars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend that
Crazy.
I met a friend similar to you. She didn't want to go to the States for holidays. So we bumped into each other in Croatia. And she was telling me about the Grizzly Ultra. So it's funny, yesterday she sent me a clip about it. And it looks, and I've got another friend that's out in Canada at the moment. And I mean, it looks pretty awesome, Ken. It looks an amazing place to visit.
Yeah. You know, Canada's a beautiful place to visit, but like, sorry, dude, but I want to stay as far away from the grizzly bears as possible. Like, you know, you got the black bears that are like the garbage bears. If you're not garbage, they don't really care about you. You know, we've got our sort of sayings. You know, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night, because you're not getting away from that. And grizzly bears don't even have their own saying because they're just mean, ornery buggers that will chase you. And yeah, stay safe out there, okay? Because they're not.
I'm
not
hoping
nice.
that it's just the name of the trail.
Yeah, it's the ultimate extreme sport, that one.
Yeah,
so,
but I don't think, I mean, you can't see grizzlies. I said to you, it can't be that. It must just be the name.
Oh, well, you'll find out.
Do some research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just say you can't see grizzlies?
Well, I figured it was
as
just
in
the
they're
name.
invisible.
It wasn't a thing. But on the mandatory list, there is bear stuff you have to take.
Yeah, they don't just make you add that to carry weight. There's reasons that they carry that stuff. Like it's you know, I mean, I'm on Vancouver Island. I mean, we've actually got some grizzly bears that have moved into Vancouver Island. They're actually moving sort of, you know, a little bit more south because most of the time we haven't had them here. It's more been black bears for us. But yeah, they're bloody big animals. I mean, they stand at least 1.5, if not twice as tall as a regular bear. You know, they command respect. Let's just put it that way. So, like I say, be safe. Wear the bells when you're running on your shoes so that they'll run away from you first. And but yeah, fun times. Like I say, they're not like drop bears. They're real.
Well, it's still work in progress. I've still got a few things I want to do as well. So hopefully.
Now, Sue, I hear that the average time for a grizzly bear in a marathon is 3 hours 32. How fast are you?
I think if I had a grizzly, I would beat my PB. So my PB at the moment is 3:49.
You see, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You'll get to that last stage.
Well,
I
you,
think
you know the deal, right? The age-old advice is how to keep yourself safe is run with a friend who's slower than you.
Yeah, make sure you're
So,
faster.
and no, I'm not coming. That's just for reference. Oh man.
Well, we should see. I think that I tend to just throw myself into things without doing too much research, but this one I figure Ken requires a little bit more thought.
I'm sure it will be safe, but like I say, I would do the research just so you understand what you're getting into. Because yeah, there's a good chance that well, we have a saying in Canada that if you're not in the city, you're in bear country, plain and simple. So if you're doing trail running out in the woods, you ain't in the city. So
Yeah.
just be aware, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'll say on my side of the woods, we've had a couple of meetups. I had Sumit Bansal actually did our last Excel meetup for Vancouver PowerBI user group, and did a phenomenal presentation on regular expressions in Excel. First time I've actually watched somebody else teach regex, and I really should have done that years ago rather than just wade my way into it. But yeah, great presentation, and we've got some Power BI stuff coming up in our next meetup. I've got actually for Vancouver Power BI user group, it is our beginning of our 10th year next in 2 weeks. So we've got Joseph Yates, who is our guy that does our What's New in Power BI every single month, is going to be there to do his Power BI mixtape Volume 2 greatest hits kind of deal. So that should be fun, and yeah, it's things keep moving forward. And meanwhile, out the window, it's smoky and 30 degrees Celsius, and my world is burning literally because there's forest fires everywhere. But that's summer in BC. So
Ken, you said it's 10 years. Is that 10 years of Power BI? So pretty much Power BI was launched, and you're like, hey, let's do a user group, or was it Excel first and then it transitioned into Power BI as well? How did that kind of?
Oh, I know this is so weird. No, Excel came second.
Wow.
I know, like for me, like this is bizarre, right? No, so we started very quickly after, like, so it, like I said, beginning of our 10th, right? We've done our 9 full years, so we weren't right there with Power BI's birthday, but we were pretty darn close after. And I remember our first meeting was in the boardroom of Legal Services and Society in Vancouver, British Columbia. There was about 12 of us all together that were actually in there. It's grown up. I think we have 3,600 members now, which is not too bad considering we've never advertised it or done anything there. We used to do one a month, and the official name of the group was the Vancouver Power BI and Modern Excel user group. So we did kind of flip things back and forth. I mean, I would do Power Query presentations a lot because obviously that was in both, and dimensional modeling type presentations and things like that. When COVID first broke out, then at that point we shut everything down for I think about 2 months, and then we came back and we said, hey, you know what, like if we're going to be bringing everybody in from online, that's when we added our Excel track. So that's when we went to twice a month. So now we've got the first meetup of the month is the Excel meetup, and then the third week of the month is when we do our Power BI meetup, and just it's all recorded on YouTube and whatever else we put it out, and yeah, it's grown. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you both find speakers? Because Sue, trying to fill 52 slots a year,
that's
even...
admirable.
I know. Well, as you know from our normal podcast, I tend to chat to people a lot. So, Peter, I was having a chat. We were sharing coffee before SQL Bits. And so I met Peter there, and David I'd just been chatting to over LinkedIn, and different people. And I think because our user group does meet weekly, we've got quite a nice strong cohort of people that join and chat. And people approach me now because I really wanted, my vision for the user group was to enable new speakers and people that just wanted to have a go. And I've met with people before to, give them a little bit of advice, mentoring and practicing. So I wanted it to be a little bit different in that it was a forum for people to have a go before they went to apply for, some of the other speaking sessions, and from that it sort of generated, people will approach people who will suggest, and also a lot of our European friends for whom English is their second language, it just gives them the confidence to be able to present in English as well. So there really is, yes, most people will really practice and it's excellent, but if we had what do we have last week, sometimes you get the old data, the demo gods, and everybody, as soon as something goes wrong, everyone is joining in to try and help and say, look at this, click on that, try that, because when you're presenting, you lose sometimes the rational thought as to what you're doing, because you're just trying to focus. So it really is a very collaborative process, and it's almost so lots of people, it's not always the normal speakers that speak. So yeah, I've got quite a few of unknowns in the next few weeks.
I'm fortunate. My wife actually does a lot of the finding speakers for things, so she's watching on on various social media programs. And I know that Sue, when we had you on our show, she was the one that reached out to you and whatnot. So it's just taking something off my plate, because I got a lot of stuff going on. So I'll be there doing the hosting on the day of and whatnot. But oftentimes Dee is the one that's tracking people down, which is good, because for a couple of reasons. I mean, I definitely make contact with a few people saying, look, I got to get you here and whatever else. But it's nice because she's actually watching, so I get names that I don't actually even know yet, which I love, because it's always interesting to meet new people, get new perspectives that are outside of your daily sphere of influence, or certainly, sphere of recognition, if you like. We also try to encourage new speakers. I find that tough. Like, a lot of people don't want to. It's hard to put yourself out there. I mean, Mark, you're saying, I mean, you're presenting dynamic arrays. You look up and there's 4 MVPs in the room, and you're going, oh crap, how am I going to actually do a presentation that's worth it? And especially when those are your peers, you don't want to come across looking like a chump, right? And I think a lot of people feel that way when they come into a speaking event or something. They've watched some of these things in the past and like, oh, these people are really good. I've never done this before. How do I get on stage? And as much as you try to encourage people, like, look, this is a really friendly audience, it's a really friendly crowd, and whatever else, it's tough. I don't know if it's easier doing it via Teams or if it's easier doing it in person for that kind of thing. I really don't know. It's been so long since I started, right? Because I know that for me personally, like, I way prefer the ability to present to people in person rather than just lecturing into a pane of glass, because you can actually get some verbal feedback. But so I don't know. It's a tough thing, but I mean, we certainly try and encourage. And I mean, I think, one of the really nice things for us about going online when we did that during the pandemic is it opened up the speaker pool to be able to pull from anywhere here in the world. And that was a really tough thing when we were in Vancouver and actually hosting in person. I did a lot more of the meetups, and our other co-organizers did a lot more of them, because you didn't have a big name popping into town every once a month or if they did, they certainly weren't arranging it based on your schedule to get there. So that was tricky.
One thing, one bit of other news, just because Ken, I know she's been on your meetup recently, was Laura Szepesi.
Szepesi,
So she's just been made an MVP.
I know, I saw that. That's fantastic.
Which is cool.
Well
I know
deserved.
you were pretty blown away by her presentation.
Yeah, she absolutely belongs in the crowd, and I think that's just absolutely great news. So
it's nice. It's good. Yeah, one thing we do as well, to sort of going back to your point about the online as opposed to in person. I love presenting in person, because you feed off the audience and you can see whether they've got it or not. But what we do with our user group is we always have a couple of cameras on, so that people are presenting to people. You can see faces. I think there's nothing worse for me physically presenting to Teams when I can't see anyone, because I have no connection there. So I do like to have someone that that you can just see their face, whether they're getting it or laughing or not, or confused, or so I think that makes a difference.
Did you mention about people being under pressure when things go wrong? So Giles, how did the round 3 of the UK Excel Championships go? Because I know I saw some comments online that it was a I think it was about pounds and shillings, and so old money in English terms, where
Old money. Yeah,
old
it
money,
was,
where there's
and it was a hard case. It was so. I mean, it went really well. Obviously, the team that's kind of running it, which is like Jack Kennedy and her other half, Johnny, Elliot, Harry Gross, Harry Watson, and then you've got me and Miles, and other people supporting. It's a brilliant team. And yeah, it was great. So that's the last virtual round. The next thing will be the in-person finals in London in September. But it was good. It was just a really hard case. So I think we did a live stream. So we had 4 people on YouTube kind of battling through it. But it was like pounds and pennies and converting it into shillings and old pennies and things like that, which was pretty full on.
So where are you in the I don't understand the process. So are you through to heats, or where are you?
This is different. This is the UK Championship. So I'm part of the team that organises and runs the UK Championship. The one I'm competing in is the Worlds, which I'm trying to get into the finals for. So see how it goes. I'm on the next live stream. So for the Worlds on the 28th of August, I think it is. If you've got nothing better to do, I will be live on YouTube competing against 3 other players, trying not to totally embarrass myself by mucking it up.
Okay.
Giles, am I right in thinking that if you win the UK Championship, you automatically get a place in the finals?
Close. I think you get into like the second round of what happens in Vegas, but we will fly out the winner of the UK Championships to Vegas, put them up in the hotel, and they get to compete. So they could end up in the very final group.
But you're part of the organising of the UK, not participating.
Yes, I can't compete in the actual UK one because I'm part of the organising team. So I've just got to qualify for the Worlds off my own back, which is going to be tough because everybody's so good at the top end of this competition. They are so good and so quick. But we'll see. I want to do as well as I can.
Very good. Any other news from anyone? Anyone's been up to anything interesting?
What about you? Have you done anything other than talk?
Well, I'm still trying to record my M-code course. It's I reckon it might come in at about 12 hours or so, which is interesting because you get courses, and I was doing some research earlier because I thought, well, Ken's on. Let's do a little bit of research about Ken. I didn't make notes of anything that was worthwhile, Ken, by the way, but I did notice. As in, I didn't learn anything new about
Where are you going with this?
But anyway,
the flattery is already over today for I can tell. Yeah.
I know. He's our guest, Mark.
Anyway, it's Ken. It's Ken. Like he'll just give back. It's fine. The thing I was going to say was that because on Skillwave, Ken's got courses that last, like your Power Query course is 25 hours?
Yeah,
24 hours.
It's we call it over 24 because I lost count.
But then equally, you've
got different levels, haven't you? Because I've done them all.
We've been through a couple of iterations, right? We have like a fundamentals course, but our sort of main one that we sell online includes the fundamentals. We originally had it as broken down with the fundamentals, intermediate, advanced. What we found is that people would buy the advanced and they weren't ready for it, because when we say advanced, we actually really meant advanced. So we basically said, let's just bundle it all back together and sell it out as one course. But yeah, it's a long course, Mark. There's no question.
But then you've got other courses on other platforms which are significantly shorter.
Well, yeah.
So how do you decide what to include or exclude, right? Because it's
yeah. So I'll give you an answer to some of that. So the courses on other platforms typically come down where the course or the producer says, we want a course and it needs to be 3 to 5 minute videos, and we want to have it as a maximum of this length. And then you sit there and you go, right. So you make a list of all the things that you want to cover, and then you start going, well, I can't do that one or that one or that one. You start chopping away to come back to what are the basics that you think are the most important. One of the most dangerous things in the world is when you give Ken an unlimited page count to be able to talk about everything that he thinks is important. And that's what happens when you've got my site, is I get to go, I can cover everything. And so then I start building courses that come in. I mean, you know, my self-service BI Academy is 24 hours. But again, but you know, what gets really interesting with that one, and I find this fascinating to me, is that, so I've got two academies. I've got a fundamentals academy, and I've got my self-service business intelligence academy. And the fundamentals academy is much shorter than what the SSBI academy is. And what's interesting to me is the propensity to finish those courses. It is much higher for SSBI, which is a much longer course, than it is for the Excel fundamentals, which is a much shorter course.
Interesting.
And I think it has to do with the audience that comes to those things, is that the people who are engaged and are willing to pay the price for the SSBI Academy, because remember, these things, I mean, they're priced, they come with coaching, you get to meet with me every couple of weeks and things like that. The people that are willing to take the extra on the bigger, higher courses are the ones that are really engaged in, I want to learn more and more and more. And the feedback that I get from them on a regular basis, can you add some more stuff in there? Like, we want more. 24 hours, that's not enough. And we went, okay, look, we'll include the Fundamentals Academy for you as well. And they're like, yeah, great. And so they're going back, they're learning, you know, they're like, oh, I didn't realize how much of the basics I didn't know. And it's like, all right, this is great. But, you know, people that are in those advanced classes love consuming as much content as they can get their hands on. People that are coming into entry level courses, I mean, I think we've always said, right? I mean, your pyramid is learning, right? There's a lot more people on the bottom than there are at the top, but the people at the top will read the entire thing, whereas the people at the bottom just want to get their job done and go home. They don't care about Excel. They're just trying to figure out how do I get the next tip to make it work faster, so I don't have to look at this stupid program anymore. So
totally agree. Yeah.
And Giles, do you find that as well in terms of financial modeling courses?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything different, to be honest. No matter what subject we've taught. I mean, we used to do like a free foundations course for a while, but again, I kind of stopped promoting it because we just saw 95% of people would come in, and I thought it was a really good course. They just never finish it. So I totally get it, Ken. And then actually, for the people that would come in on like our premium training things, quite often they would smash through all of our content, which I wasn't even sure people could finish it all, but they would. So yeah, I've always seen exactly the same thing.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy that, and I find that, I think this goes back to cheat sheets as well, that if people can take action, hey, I've downloaded a cheat sheet, I've signed up for a course, I've done something, that almost smooths over their need to, you know, hey, I've got a learning gap here. I'll download a cheat sheet. I'll join a free course. Hey, I've now done that. I'll do that at some point. And so by taking action, they've almost mentally ticked something off. So therefore, they then don't follow it through.
You know, I was building a cheat sheet yesterday, and I had this horrible vision of being chased by pirate ships for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. But Giles, I just want to say, just because because we're friends, and I've got to get this out there, my cheat sheet will never be posted on the internet. It's only going for my clients.
Your cheat sheets are really good, Ken. I used all yours.
My recipes. Yeah, absolutely.
Your recipes.
Your recipes. I've got some of your recipes.
So
they're great.
They're cheat sheets, but so I mean, I'm building one right now for AI prompting for my students, because unfortunately I got to plug my nose and we got to talk about AI a little bit on these things, right? But but I guess here's my thing, is that I'm not as adversely have a big hatred for cheat sheets as Giles does, but I think Giles, if I can get this right, your biggest issue with this is when somebody just puts out one of these things to try to track people and doesn't really have a lot of merit to it. That's the part that's frustrating with them, right?
Yeah.
More than the fact of the principle.
Exactly. Actually, Mark did a great job about 4 episodes ago of being the spokesperson for the Humble MVP, and said it better than I could. It's not just the cheat sheets, it's just the high cadence of rubbish cheat sheets. Whenever I see a cheat sheet with top functions and it has VLOOKUP on it, I'm like, that's been put out just to wind me up. That's the only reason that's been created, is just to annoy me.
And out of curiosity, did it have Mark's signature at the bottom?
Yeah, it was signed by Mark, Win and Sue, whoever they were.
I can tell you the number of times I have come close to creating a cheat sheet called How to Be Humble, and it's a picture of Giles in the top corner, and it's been packed so full of stuff that it's completely illegible. But then it gets like, this is actually going to take me time to do this, and I'm not sure the payoff is there. So, but at some point, you never know, a How to Be Humble cheat sheet might arrive.
I'm going to do a course. Like, genuinely, it's in my mind. I'm going to create a like tongue-in-cheek, but actually deadpan serious. Here's how you be humble. I'll get the full outfit on. I'll put it out there for free. I won't put any sales pitch at the end for full start. Just because I'll be bored and I'll think that'd be funny. I'm going to do that. I will do that.
It's good that you don't put a sales pitch on the end of it for your actual business.
Probably not. I'll probably keep that very separate.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Brian Julius, and again, like I love his post at the moment because he keeps sharing loads of information on AI, and I did comment on one of his recent ones, just saying like, right, I've got FOMO, like I need to get up to speed with this stuff or make a start. So I think he's going to put up some stuff around how do you get started with getting up to speed with AI. His cheat sheets are great. Love
he's
his
phenomenal.
cheat sheets.
And he's Kurt Buehler is another one that started a new series on AI and how to get started. But Brian and Sam McKay have got various various
really enjoyed Sam's posts.
YouTube sessions of them just discovering and hanging out and working out how to make it work. But I mean, Brian is so generous and real gentleman and just absolutely wonderful, full of huge brain power that he's happy to share.
Love it.
Talking about humbleness, before we get into the so talking about humbleness, and then Giles leans in and says, "Yep."
What do you want to know? What would you like to know, Mark?
Talking about humbleness in general, before we get on to the question of the week, I thought it's been a while since a guest has had a song. So I thought I'm going to create a song all about Ken.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Very excited, Ken. I'm rather worried.
At least I don't have to sing it, but this is terrifying.
You don't. So hopefully this will work. Here we go.
Oh, there's a man from the Canadian shore. He's called Ken Puls, who wrangles numbers and so much more. He's called Ken Puls. From power query to DAX's might, he'll chart your course and set it right. Ken Puls is the one, fixing sheets till the job is done. Ken Puls is the power query OG. It's just Ken and his data monkey. Your stormy charts and Pharisees. He's called Ken Puls. He'll get you home with skill and ease. He's called Ken Puls. He'll turn your tables, pivot fast, and turn your data to gold at last. Ken Puls is the one, fixing sheets till the job is done. Ken Puls is the power query OG. It's just Ken and his data monkey.
And there we go.
Great.
Ken Puls, the power query OG.
Great.
Just Ken and data monkey.
Incredibly flattered, and picked up a lot of things in there that just like sounded like titles from my old presentations and things. That was. So did you do the research, or are you now going to tell me I'm going to crush you, Ken, and that we wrote it with AI?
100% he wrote it with AI.
Hang on. So, in all honesty, right, I started it with AI. I wasn't happy with all of the words, so I added some phrases myself in there just to personalize it a bit more. Originally, I wanted a sea shanty type feel, but apparently AI can't create a sea shanty kind of sound. So yeah, you got that. So
I appreciate it, man. There you go.
And that's got to
on
be
Spotify.
a shout for Bulgaria intro. I mean, I'm hosting with Oz, so we can set this up. Do you want that as your intro track for Bulgaria?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Let's do
What
that.
does OG stand for?
Original.
Original gangster.
How
was
do you
original
not know
gangster.
that?
Okay, there you go.
Sue,
Pardon?
Sue. How do you not know OG? My goodness.
She's showing her age. She's showing her age.
But the age would make me think you would know what OG is. I think that's an insult. I take that back.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta be careful making comments like that, buddy.
I didn't mean that.
Don't worry.
Wow.
I have no issues with my age.
Neither do I. With your age.
But yeah, goat I
Right.
get.
So
Goat is all the time, but I've never heard OG.
Yeah. Dig me out of this, Mark. Come on. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
was just about to say we should probably move on to question of the week now, because otherwise,
Great.
as like many weeks, question of the week gets like 5 seconds. So, so we've had Ken's song. Now let's have our jingle.
It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the week. It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the week.
And the question of the week is, what technologies are you currently ignoring and why? So who would like to start? Which questions are you currently ignoring? This isn't just stuff that you're like, oh, there's that thing over there. This is stuff you are actively thinking, I'm not going to bother with that. Who would like to go?
Who's going to say it? Who's going to say the word?
Ken, let's start with you.
Starts with C.
Anything that starts with Copilot in Excel.
I knew it.
I'm gonna get myself kicked out of the MVP program for this, man. Like I don't know. I mean, yeah, anything Copilot related is not on my list of things to use. Excel wise, anyway. I mean, I haven't really worked with a lot of the other Copilot instances, and Lord knows there seems to be about 90 of different things that are all branded as Copilot. But if I'm going to be going to AI, I generally reach out to ChatGPT instead, and I do use it on occasion. But I just, yeah, the Copilot stuff should be a lot better. So I'll stop there on that one.
Well done.
Somebody else take a turn.
That was very restrained.
Sue, do you want to go next?
I haven't touched Copilot. Again, I tend to use ChatGPT more. I wouldn't say I'm actively avoiding, but sometimes I just feel a bit overwhelmed because there's everything that Brian's, showcasing Brian Julius for BI and data modeling, and then Kurt's starting with it's MCP servers, isn't it? And how you can program them and get you to, and then sometimes I find I forget how to do time intelligence in DAX because my brain is just going in so many different different spin-offs to understand all of the. It's how do you retain everything that you've worked so hard to learn and then learn more things? And, what's more important? And this is, I absolutely love learning new things. And I really enjoy the challenge, and I've been focusing on Python a lot, but only one of my customers I use Python with, and the rest are sort of normal Power BI data engineering type. And I find it's really useful to understand what I can do with it for when I do need to be able to use it. But you also need to retain the skills for your normal things. So I'm sort of like trying to motivate myself to go down the whole AI route. But then it's really tough. It's like you said, Giles, with Brian, that they're so far ahead of where I am. It's difficult to know where to start, and there's only so much time that you can devote. So that's what I'm currently ignoring.
I'm probably the same. I think I'm the same. I've never dealt or delved into Copilot. I had a very strong resistance to it just because it was being thrown in my face all the time for so long. That seems to have eased off, at least on my laptop, probably because I've changed some of the settings. I'm sure I will at some point. I'll convert, but it hasn't drawn me in yet. Just to give a different answer, which Sue will love because it's running related, I have started just to trickle through a few short runs again, and I'm actively not using any technology. I don't have my watch on. I don't monitor my heart rate, my cadence.
Yeah.
I'll put my phone in my pocket so it logs the run. But I'm really enjoying not worrying about any measurements. It's just get out, get some fresh air, get in the sun. And
Listen
I've
to
really
your
enjoyed
body.
it. Yeah, because I think as a runner, you can. I'm definitely not a runner anymore, but when I was doing it a lot, you can get really obsessed with measuring everything. Oh, my heart rate's above, 150 or whatever it is, and I just want to be out there and stay a little bit fit. That's enough for me now.
That'll keep you going, because so many people do. Obviously, I'm quite a hardcore runner, but 80% of my runs are chilled runs because I just love running.
Mark has just put a banner up for anybody listening saying we apologise for the amount of running chat. Normal service will resume soon.
I don't care, because that's brilliant though, Giles, because you just go out and let your body tell you how far and how fast you want to go and enjoy it, and then you'll do it more often. And that's the long term, is to be able to run forever. And you'll do it more if you enjoy it. So my advice to anyone would be walk, run, chill, enjoy. Only 20% have to be, if you're training for something, have to be hardcore. The rest are really nice.
I can see Mark's eyes glazing over as we continue this running chat.
Yep.
So we should carry on if we can. See if we can put him to sleep.
It is quite warm in here, although I haven't had any stiff drinks.
Have you done your 5Ks?
Mark.
I think it's best we don't talk about this. As soon as you stop asking me, Sue, they just stopped because there was no one hounding me.
Well, that's because I do recall you saying that if people bother you, you won't do it, and now if I don't ask you, you won't do it.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty safe method. So to bring this back onto some technology chat, shall we? Rather than
I think Giles totally skipped out on that, right? It's like, what technology are you active avoiding? And it was like, well,
exactly.
I'm not avoiding anything. I'm just not using anything. What?
I did say I agreed with Copilot.
Well, okay, fine.
I think there's a whole bunch of stuff I'm just not even aware of but that doesn't even really count, because I think to your point, Mark, we're talking about sort of consciously not using something or ignoring something.
Well, it's interesting because I was expecting you to say, or one of the things I was expecting to say was Power BI, because we know that you're not you've made some disparaging remarks about Power BI in the past.
I can make more if you want. If you want me to use up 5 minutes, I'll make loads.
It's not what we want. It's what you feel.
I don't feel strongly about Power BI, but I'm not out there consulting anymore. So it's not often in my day-to-day experience that I come across a data set and think, do you know what would really do well here? Power BI. It doesn't happen. So no, I'm sure it's great.
To be fair, though, when we've talked about it and you've looked at what I'm doing, you could understand the reason for it then. It's just not for your bit that you do.
I think some of the Power BI reports and dashboards, and even when you walked me through Fabric and the way that they kind of all tied together, I thought, that's great. I just don't like some of the what feels like very clunky steps you have to get through to get there versus what an Excel person would do. And I know there are massive limitations with Excel and data management and stuff like that.
But I think some of this, comes down to what your clients are doing and what you need to use it for as well, right? Because I mean, I have two other things that are on my sort of actively I'm not pursuing list. One of them, sorry, Sue, is Python and Excel. I mean, you know, but working in a world of finance and working in a world of data modeling and whatnot, and with the Excel interface, I mean, it's just not something that I need or have a role for with the stuff I have. And I'm sure that there's some pure Python people that are be like, Ken, you don't know what you're missing, and that's fine. But you know, at the end of the day, I haven't had any of my I've had a couple of clients come and say, hey, I've been thinking about using this, but they come to it or they bring those questions to me for the wrong reasons. Like, I want to go and scrape a website using Python and Excel. Well, you can't do that. You're shelled. You can't get to the external thing anyway. And why wouldn't you just use Power Query so you got buttons, right? So, you know, I think I heard one person saying, yeah, but that doesn't scale. And it's like, okay, dude, if you're trying to scale it inside Excel, I think you probably need to re-architect your solution anyway. But, you know, regardless. And then the other one for me is Office scripts. I mean, I just, you know, that one is one that I have been actively avoiding because I just don't feel that it's complete enough to be able to do the tasks that I want to do. And I think, Mark, you had made a comment at one point in time that it's a phenomenal tool for people who don't use Excel to be able to automate Excel, but it's not really a great tool for people who really use Excel to be able to automate Excel like VBA is. And granted, there's, you know, benefits and drawbacks to both, and I understand that, but you know, I got a lot of history working with VBA. I know how to make things happen. I can make them happen really, really quickly. And I happen to have control of an organization where I can actually use the VBA whatever the heck I want. It's not being shelled out. And I've got a lot of clients that are in that same area where, you know, the IT department is not blocking them from using VBA. So why wouldn't you use the best technology for the job? And, you know, so for those, for me, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm much more happy to put those on the table than even to discuss the other one that started with C. But, you know, those are technologies that I am actively saying, like, I'm not really interested in investing in right now.
So for me, I mean, most of this, I think, comes down to context, doesn't it? And so, you know, Giles not needing Power BI makes complete sense for somebody who is predominantly doing financial modeling. I think even, you know, Liam Bastick, who wrote a book about financial modeling in Power BI, if you ask him about it, he'll probably say, it's probably not the best tool to do financial modeling in Power BI. You can, but it's not the best tool. And I think it comes down, and Ken, you mentioned about Python, and Python's one in Excel is one of the things that I suppose to date, I have actively ignored it. I think in a few months' time, it's on my roadmap to learn. But currently, it's kind of like you have to think about who am I trying to help, and the people I'm trying to help have much bigger issues than Copilot and Excel. They have issues which are solved by technologies which already exist, but they don't even know those technologies exist. So there's a whole host of things such as Python, which I'm convinced are exceptionally useful. But I think it's kind of that learning curve. You need to get over the point where you can comfortably handle this, whatever the technology is. And once you get over that point, you'll then, hey, I've got control. I can do whatever this thing is. But it takes quite a while to get to that point. Even things like Power Query, you can initially, like, you come along, you click buttons, but you come to a scenario and you're like, I don't even know which order I need to click these buttons in to get the thing I want. Do I need an unpivot? Is it a transpose? Do I need something else? Do I need an index column thing going on? And it takes a while for you to practice all of those and to go through them. So at the minute, I'd say I'm actively ignoring Python and Excel, but I think there probably are some use cases. So that's where I am gonna look in the near future. In terms of Copilot, I have not. Well, in terms of Copilot in Excel, every time I've tried it, it has been terrible. So I haven't actively ignored it. It's just hasn't met the requirements to be useful. I did try using Copilot Studio to build some. So the Microsoft equivalent of GPTs, you can build those in Copilot Studio. So I thought it'd be great. I could create some tools on my website that do various things, and that's been quite hard to get. You know, it's like, oh, you just prompt it. You put in whatever prompt you want, your GPT, and it's been quite hard to train that thing well enough that it consistently gives you what you want. And I think when I think about all these, Copilot and Excel and all these other third-party, tools that are using AI, all of them are plugging into an AI model. There aren't that many AI models. Everyone's plugging into the same ones, and really, it's just about your how good are you at prompting, or to get the results that you want, that you can then take that result and turn it into something else that you want. And I think that's where I've struggled. So, on a pure chat, a pure chat basis, it's absolutely fine. But as soon as you want, hey, I want someone to ask a question and you to give a very specific response in a specific structure that they can then just copy and paste into this thing over here, the variety of things you get are quite different. So I wouldn't say that I'm not actively ignoring Copilot. I've just struggled with it a lot, and so I look at it. I mean, I'd say this is only the last 2 months. Before that, I was actively ignoring. But then you just kind of shelve it for a bit and come back to it, and you have to keep trying. But it's a really frustrating technology.
I would say that, like, particularly and I don't want to be going deep into an AI conversation again, but the reality is, I mean, I think probably one of the reasons that we struggle with these engines as data people is because typically, as data people, we highly value precision and repeatability. And these models are not trained to be precise or repeatable. They are trained to be non-deterministic, and they are trained to come up with varying answers, specifically because they've generally been trained on written works or stories and documents and policies and things like that, which do need to have variability. But when you go and you try and take that into something that's a finance term, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know the joke, right? I mean, why did the accountant cross the road? Because they looked in the file and that's what they did last year. I mean, it's about repeatability and they'll be able to get the same answer every single time. So, that I think is one of the areas where, for me, I genuinely struggle with these things, because, I'll go in and I'll bash a question, and it's not long before I'm asking, like, do I not know how to speak English, or is it you? Like, which one is it? Because I'm just not able to get consistent or results that mimic what I expect to get and whatnot. And I think that's somewhere that, if they can ever break that down to a point where, I understand that it needs to be flexibility if I ask you how to build something and do something and whatever else, but, I shouldn't be getting a V lookup one day and an X lookup one day and then a lookup one other day and a whatever, just because there's variability in these things. That's not that particular thing happens, but you get the idea. So
in terms of technologies as well, how much, because with Python and with other tools, there are limits that are set, because anything that goes to the cloud, it's not when you've got your monthly subscription or whatever it is, Microsoft are not going to go, hey, here's an open pipeline, you can send backwards and forwards as much stuff as you like, because there's a cost involved. So therefore, there's always I'm always concerned about technologies where there is a limit, as in someone can have so many requests and then there's a cutoff, or technologies where somebody needs a premium license to achieve something. Because I'm pretty sure that most of the audience that I'm trying to help, they don't have premium licenses for anything. Therefore, they've got to go to their IT department and beg the fact that they need this premium license. And it's like, well, what for? Well, I might be able to do this thing with it because somebody online said I might be able to save a bit of time. So it's almost like I feel as if anything that's got a premium license probably isn't worth concerning myself with. Also, anything that's not native, as in if somebody has to install something and get IT privileges, suddenly your audience is then significantly reduced as well, and the number of people who would handle that is reduced. So I think they're kind of three things that kind of guide what things are even worth thinking about. Because even with you've got Python. Hey, I set something up in Python. I send it to my line manager, who tries to run this report. Little do I know is that he's been receiving other people's Python reports, and now he reaches that cap or that limit, and he can't run my report. And so it might work fine for me, but then not for somebody else. So these kind of limits make me concerned around.
They'll just push it back to you and say, Mark, can you please refresh the report for me? Which is exactly what you don't want happening.
No.
It is
Yeah.
it's a challenge, because I did a session for SQL Bit on using the OpenAI module within Fabric in Python to show how you could create sentiment analysis and answer questions, etc., based on survey data, and it's expensive, very expensive. So
yeah, I was going to say, I remember, so last year's conference in Bulgaria, someone did a presentation about, in Excel Labs, generative, there's an AI.
Generative AI,
Yeah.
And it started off, and it's like, here's this thing, it can get this stuff back, and then the results were quite good. And then I remember somebody asked, and they said, well, it doesn't cost too much. And then somebody asked, but the question was like, what happens if I run this over 10,000 rows of data? And it's like, well, then it might get a bit costly.
Well, and I think that's one of the issues I always had with
10,000 rows of data, and I'm running it every month.
Yeah, this is always one of the things that I always had an issue with when Microsoft would come back and they'd give you these pricing models that were based on, it's like, we'll price it based on number of tokens. Okay, well, number one, I have a really hard time visualizing what a token is, because I speak in words, not tokens. Thank you very much. So so there's that challenge. You go, okay, well, what's the predictability of it? And I don't know if you've ever had to manage compute resources in Azure at all. I've unfortunately had to spend some time on that over the last week, and suddenly it's like, well, you got a runaway cost going on something, and you're looking at it and going, like, what's driving this? Like, is it CPU cycles? Is it just time of day? Like, and it's very, very hard. Not understanding it, it's very, very hard for me to predict it. As the accountant, I'm looking at it going, again, I mean, I value predictability. I want to be able to know. And in some cases, I would actually rather go and pay $30 per month and find out that I've actually only used 15, doesn't really matter, than get a runaway cost where suddenly I'm taking hundreds on. Like, run me a plan until I eventually run out or something like that, or at least give me a notification that I'm going to be going higher. Because at least when I go and say it's going to be approximately $30 a month to my boss, I can deal with that. That's easy. Whereas if I go and say, well, I don't know, they price it like 0.0000002 cents per token. Well, how many are you going to use? I don't know. What's that going to work out to be a line item? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be per token, but for each call, there is a minimum number of tokens. So,
yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I looked at one point with just even sending, using an API to send something to ChatGPT and whatnot. And I'm, if you're sending the entire conversation back, which is, I believe, what happens in a lot of these things, to hold on to the context, then you sit there and go, well, for every question you ask, you're burdening this thing. It goes into a loop, and it's like, well, the longer the question gets, the more expensive it gets, and you're querying it over and over and over again. That has a cost too. And I mean, I get it, but it's really hard to predict that stuff. So it's challenging from a cost perspective in a way.
Yeah.
So
and then you have to learn something else where you have to learn how to use the budgeting tools and set caps, and
this is busy work that you don't want to be bothered with.
Yeah. Sorry, Giles.
Can I share? I appreciate we're probably wrapping up soon, but I've been trying to use ChatGPT 5, which I found immensely frustrated. I shared this on LinkedIn the other day. It was so bad at what I was trying to get it to do, which was build a Lambda, which I think various previous versions would have done pretty well. And I had another argument with it, which ended up with me telling it off, saying, like, why are you being so stupid? Why? Why did your predecessor get this right? And what's wrong with you? And I'll read you its word for word answer. ChatGPT 5. Because my brain decided to take the scenic route through every overcomplication possible before actually pulling into the correct station. It's a classic case of solution drift. I kept thinking about handling blanks, reverse ranges, safety checks, instead of just doing what you asked. What am I supposed to do with that?
But it said that.
Yeah, it came back with that. It's like, I appreciate your honesty, but you're an idiot. That doesn't help me.
And how many water bottles got consumed to cool the processor for that tangent question?
Yeah.
But you asked. Just walk away. Walk away.
I did say that. I was speaking to someone who was sort of fairly non-techie recently, and they were sort of wanting to know more about ChatGPT, and I said it can be very good. I said, but it's also like a very overexcited toddler that it's like, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Have a go at this. What about this? And now you've done that, then you could do this, and then you can do that. So, you know, that goes, I think, to your point where sometimes you just think, just ABC. That's all I need. ABC.
Someone told me some stats the other day about the how many questions down and the percentage chance of Copilot or ChatGPT ever solving that. So as in with your first prompt, the chance, if your first prompt gets a good response, there's like a certain percent, and the more questions you ask, the less chance there is of it actually getting to what you want.
That feels real.
Right. Yeah.
That feels real.
You ask your first prompt, it goes, "Oh, I'm with you." But then once you follow up with a question, it's already kind of narrowed its field of vision.
Yeah.
And if it's already ignored the stuff you've asked for, it's not going to go back out there. So actually, sometimes if it doesn't give you what you want, the last thing you want to do is keep going with the same conversation.
Don't keep going.
And start all over again. Or else you end up with a very
this is what my cheat sheet actually says, right? Like if you get into this process and you start realizing that you're going around in a circle, because I have definitely had this happen, the appropriate thing to do is to close the chat and walk away. You're not going to be able to get it back. Close the chat and walk away. And you know what? Go figure out how to do it yourself at that point.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll look out for that cheat sheet, Ken. Sounds great.
Yeah, well, you're right, fair enough. I'll send it to you, buddy.
Thanks.
And everyone should watch out for the humbleness cheat sheet that will be stolen from a social media platform close to you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can get it from me if you just submit your email, and then I'll give you a high-res PDF version, and it'll be great.
Step 1, white jacket. Step 2, shades. Step 3, leather pants from a sex shop. Is that the?
That's coming to Bulgaria. That outfit.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what they play for you when you walk on stage.
Can you record it for me, someone, and send it over?
Oh yeah, we'll have to.
Oh yeah.
When is it? It's October, isn't it? Middle of October?
Yes.
Yeah,
not far away.
So before this thing takes any more of a turn into a weird cul-de-sac, I suggest we wrap it up there. So
Ken's
thank
fault.
you.
Ken brought
you,
up the
Ken.
text trousers, wasn't me.
So thank you, Ken, for being with us again today. It's been lovely to have you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Win is hopefully back next time, and we will see you all then. So thanks you all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, you too. Take care. Bye. Bye.
It sounded like you were like ending a